The main purpose of total quality control, or TQC activities, is to upgrade the quality of the company as a whole. In this video series, we would like to introduce 7 new tools which will help you to expand the power of TQC.
Hello. The concept of quality control began in the inspection and production departments of manufacturing companies. It later spread into other fields, such as research and design. These days, QC is used extensively throughout the business world, for example, in the construction industry. It's also used in service industries, such as financial companies, department stores, and the hotel business. But the main focus now is on TQC, Total Quality Control, which refers to the quality control activities applied throughout the company. There are various reasons behind the considerable increase in the number of companies introducing TQC. One reason is to meet the demands of the times we live in. Of course, the main objective of any company is to produce the best possible products using state-of-the-art technology. But that is not the whole story. A company must fulfill its many obligations. In particular, it must improve quality to achieve 3 targets. 1. To fulfill its social responsibilities by contributing to the local society and establishing a good relationship with customers. 2. To improve and maintain business results to ensure profits. 3. To educate and develop its workforce. It's a mistake to think that you can improve company performance as a whole simply by improving your buildings and facilities. To achieve real improvements in company quality, it is necessary for every company employee to develop certain skills and attitudes.
Which does not judge simply by results. In other words, the end does not necessarily justify the means. You must concentrate on the process of developing new products and systems and analyze them thoroughly in order to refine them. Data based on hard facts as criteria for making judgments. It also includes data processing techniques. The 7 tools for QC in use up to now include Pareto diagrams, histograms, and cause and effect or fishbone diagrams. They use figures as data to provide a method of analysis about technical problems in question. But the 7 new tools expand the power of TQC by providing a method of analysing how to solve problems even before the stage where numerical data are available.
So let's now take a look at the 7 new tools for QC.
1. Organising verbal data. The important point here is that facts cannot always be adequately expressed simply by using numerical data. For example, in the case of redesigning a domestic appliance such as a refrigerator or a washing machine, users' opinions about existing models, such as this one, can provide vital information for product development. Verbal statements like this are in fact a kind of data which express facts. We refer to facts like these as verbal data. The 7 new tools for QC were developed as a means of organising verbal data diagrammatically. 2. Putting intricate problems into a solvable form. Imagine for a moment that you have been given the responsibility for improving the efficiency of your company's accounting procedures. But what does efficiency really mean? Does it refer to efficiency in keeping accounts? Or does it refer to efficiency in the flow of accounting slips? Or perhaps it refers to the need for more office automation. As you can see, the issue may have endless ramifications. The 7 new tools are techniques for untangling the intricate relationships between the different elements of a problem and putting them into a solvable form. 3. Improving the planning process. In the hotel business, for example, it is usually very difficult for the planning section alone to improve the standard of service. It requires the cooperation of all other hotel management sections. It's vital that all members of a group can share their thoughts, pool their collective knowledge, and strike ideas off each other. This process is aided and abetted by all the QC techniques, including the 7 new tools. What this means, in effect, is that the 7 new tools are techniques to stimulate creativity.
So what exactly are the 7 new tools for QC? Here they are. 1. Affinity diagrams. 2. Relations diagrams. 3. Tree diagrams. 4. Matrix diagrams. 5. Matrix data analysis. 6. Arrow diagrams. And 7. PDPC, or Process Decision Program Charts. As you are probably already aware, in TQC, the management PDCA cycle is very important. Plan, do, check, act. And it's really the planning process which should be regarded as the most vital. The 7 new tools for QC can be extremely effective in improving the planning process, whereas the original 7 tools of QC are most effective at the do stage. Let's take a brief look at the 7 techniques involved in the 7 new tools for QC.
1. Affinity diagrams. This first tool is highly effective in bringing a problem clearly into view. It is a way of locating and structuring problems which concern future events, unknown circumstances, or new experiences. It does this by collecting assorted facts, opinions, and ideas in the form of verbal data and synthesizing them into a single diagram based on natural affinities and common factors. Affinity diagrams are very useful for the following. 1. Understanding the facts. They permit the essence of a problem to be pinned down accurately and ensure that everyone concerned will clearly recognize it. 2. Constructing thoughts. They enable problems to be unearthed through the use of questions such as, what kind of things do active QC circles really do? 3. breakthrough thinking. They facilitate breakthrough thinking and stimulate the development of fresh ideas. Four, encouraging teamwork. By incorporating the ideas and opinions of everyone in the group, they serve to foster a good team spirit, raise everyone's awareness levels, and generally spur the group into action. Two, relations diagrams. This tool is used for resolving very thorny, tangled issues. It does this by unraveling the logical connections among the intertwined causes and effects, objectives, and the strategies used for achieving them. A relations diagram is particularly useful in developing new products, discovering new markets, implementing improvements in productivity, increasing factory automation, saving energy, and implementing safety countermeasures. In other words, affinity diagrams and relations diagrams are used in the first stage of the PDCA management cycle for pinpointing and clarifying problems and finding suitable solution strategies. Three, tree diagrams. The third tool is an application of the principle of starting by setting some kind of objective, target, goal or result, and then going on to develop a succession of strategies in order to achieve it. Tree diagrams are often used to provide appropriate support to QC circles. They provide feasible levels of methods by constructing a diagram with objectives and strategies for first, second, and third levels of use. 4. Matrix diagrams. The fourth tool is a method to discover key ideas for solving a problem. It consists of a two-dimensional array of columns and rows, rather like a chessboard. The intersections are examined to determine the location and nature of a problem, and so find key ideas for helping to solve it. Matrix diagrams and tree diagrams are used in the second stage of the plan step of the PDCA management cycle in order to determine strategies to help with the implementation of TQC. 5. Arrow diagrams. This is the fifth tool. It is a type of scheduling chart which controls scheduling and its general progress. It is useful not just for new product development and process improvement through the scheduling and control of events and projects. It can also be used for shortening setup time, etc. The work involves those processes which can be started only after the previous process has been completed, or processes which can be carried out simultaneously. Since an arrow diagram can express work relationships in parallel and longitudinally at the same time, it is a type of program evaluation and review technique which is very useful for developing and monitoring schedules. Six, PDPC. The sixth tool is the Process Decision Program Chart, usually shortened to PDPC. It is used to prevent serious accidents caused by unanticipated problems and so achieve a desired objective. Its function, therefore, is to plan for various contingencies which could arise during the process between the starting point and the goal. It does this by using present information to forecast future situations and necessary countermeasures. In the process of undertaking research and development or investigating new markets, it is very common for completely new and unanticipated problems to crop up along the way. When that occurs, a PDPC is used to input new information, forecast upcoming situations, and search for a solution in order to determine the best course to take. Arrow diagrams and a PDPC are used for the final stage of the plan step of the PDCA management cycle, in which an actual plan of action is devised. Seven, matrix data analysis. The seventh tool is the only one of the 7 new tools for QC to employ numerical data. It's a type of multivariate analysis, often referred to as principal constituent analysis. Every company possesses mountains of numerical data, and matrix data analysis is used in order to determine the next step by sorting out all the numerical data, including quality inspection data, market research data, and so on.
Each of the 7 new tools for QC has very distinctive characteristics. By using them as appropriate to your particular aims, you can discover many new ideas, as well as keys to how problems can be solved. But in order for the 7 new tools to be effective, it is vital to have the verbal data, which is their basis. So now let's take a look at verbal data.
Here are a few typical workers' comments. I can't write reports very well, and I'm not much good at presentations either. I hate public presentations. Without them, the activities of our circle would be much more fun. Our group leader likes to control everything himself. He rarely gives us a chance to ask questions, and of course, he doesn't teach us QC methods either. Comments and opinions like these are called raw information. Raw information can easily be gathered from meetings, questionnaires, and so on. However, it is not of much use in its original form, since one statement may contain several different points all mixed together. The raw information has to be refined into verbal data before it becomes useful. Let's see how this is done by using some typical comments about a quality control circle. Point 1. Create units of verbal data. The first step is to create distinct units of verbal data, each one implying only one specific meaning. As an example of this, let's use one of the statements we've just heard. Our group leader likes to control everything himself. He rarely gives us a chance to ask questions. And of course, he doesn't teach us QC methods either. We can divide the statement up into 3 short sentences which serve as distinct units of verbal data. 1. Our group leader likes to control everything himself. 2. He rarely gives us a chance to ask questions. 3. Of course, he doesn't teach us QC methods either. These 3 sentences should be written on 3 separate cards. Point 2. Compress verbal data. To extract the essence of a raw statement, it should be rephrased in a simple form. For example, take this comment. The department chief seems to have rather limited knowledge about QC, and perhaps because he doesn't really understand it, he tends to avoid any mention of it himself and tries to escape discussion of it. This raw statement could be compressed to, the department chief dislikes the term QC itself. Point 3. Use complete sentences. Verbal data should be as clear and concise as possible. But there is a danger of compressing down to mere phrases or words, which can result in confusion. For example, take this raw statement. This article was not written by hand, but created with the help of a computer. It would be possible to compress this sentence down to just computerized article. However, neither the meaning of article nor computerized would be clear. In other words, verbal data should never consist of just words or phrases, but should always be in the form of complete, concise sentences which leave no scope for misunderstanding. In this case, something like this sentence would be ideal. This article was written using a computer. Point 4. Verbal data should be concrete. Facts, opinions and ideas contained in the raw statements should be rendered into meaningful and concrete verbal data, rather than brief abstract statements. For example, look at this raw statement. My family has always kept pets, and the dog we have now, who is called Rex, is really affectionate and sweet. If this statement was reduced to bald statements, such as, we have a dog, or we always keep a pet, they would not be very useful as verbal data. However, the main elements of the statement would be included in a sentence such as, our present pet is a loving dog called Rex. Point 5. Use numerical data to add meaning. The specific meaning of verbal data can be enhanced considerably by the addition of numerical data. For example, a statement such as, video decks sold well this season, is rather vague. But the statement, 22,300 video decks were sold between March the 1st and June the 30th, is a much more useful and specific unit of verbal data.
Now let's take a look at some of the different types of verbal data.
First, there is data which clearly expresses facts. For example, 350 units have been produced on line B today. Factual data can be verified or shown to be false. Forecast data consists of forecasts made based on some other facts. For example, more than 50 defects are likely to occur. Creative data, or conceptual data, includes a creative opinion or a new idea. For example, stoppages between processes could be avoided if the layout was changed. Opinion data includes opinions, agreements, or principles as expressed by a commentator. For example, you must follow all the work instructions listed up here. So, what sort of data do you need to collect to meet your requirements? It's very important to decide that clearly. The answer will, of course, depend on which of the 7 new tools you are applying.
Well, that brings us to the end of Volume 1. We've looked at the role of the 7 new tools for QC and discussed the meaning of verbal data. In Volumes 2 and 3, we'll be examining how to put the 7 new tools to work. See you there.